The World Health Organization is issuing an urgent warning after many Americans spent their three-day weekend visiting beaches and newly reopened businesses. Experts say moving too fast could lead to a, quote, immediate second peak of infections. Here in the U.S., all 50 states are now partially reopened. It comes as the U.S. braces itself for a devastating new milestone. Nearly 100,000 American lives have been taken by the coronavirus. Paula Reid is at the White House with the latest on the Trump administration's response to the pandemic. So, Paula, let's dig right into it. The president's push to get the country back up and running comes as his administration told Congress it would buy 100 million testing swabs by the end of the year. What's the White House's strategy for carrying these tests out?
Well, Vlad, the administration says it intends to distribute those swabs to the different states so that they can implement their own testing programs. Sunday was the deadline for the administration to give Congress a national testing strategy, but the administration is doubling down on its insistence that testing is going to be up to the states. But a lot of public health officials, they say that in order for the country to truly get back to business, for folks to feel comfortable going back to work, for businesses to fully reopen, they need to have a better sense of what's going on with COVID-19 out there. And you need to know not only who has an active infection, who has antibodies, and because right now it's unclear if antibodies also mean you're immune, who is immune? They need more information. And right now, with the states having sort of this patchwork of different policies, they're not really able to achieve that full picture. So it'll be interesting to see if Congress goes back to the administration and continues to press them on more information or more of a commitment to more of a federal program.
So over the weekend, the president announced a ban on travel from Brazil. Brazil is really dealing with a major epidemic there, and their president is sort of denying the severity of it. So the date to ban that travel, that was actually pushed up 2 days. Do we know why that happened?
Well, as you just said, Anne-Marie, Brazil is currently seeing a spike in COVID cases. It is now among the lead countries in the world in terms of COVID. And this travel ban is meant to restrict any non-U.S. citizens from entering the U.S. if they've been to Brazil in the preceding 2 weeks. As you noted, originally this policy was supposed to go into effect about a minute before midnight on Thursday, but yesterday they announced they were moving it up, and it'll go into effect about a minute before midnight tonight. We have asked the administration why they moved this up, if they just did this unintentionally, if they didn't know that they were putting a week between the policy and its implementation, which of course gives people a significant amount of time to come here and not be subject to this policy. So far, the White House, though, has not been able to give us an explanation about why they suddenly moved up the date for implementing this policy.
So, Paula, let me ask you about the president's recent threats to officials in North Carolina over the upcoming national convention. Explain to our audience, what exactly is the president demanding?
Right now, the Republican National Convention is scheduled to be held in North Carolina in August. And yesterday, the president said that he would insist that the Democratic governor of North Carolina could guarantee that thousands of GOP delegates will be able to attend in August, even though the state currently has about 24,000 COVID cases and is in the process of slowly getting through this. The president clearly trying to apply pressure to the state to get back to business faster. He's trying to apply pressure because, of course, this is a very lucrative event. I know you folks have probably been to a convention at one point. For anyone who hasn't, it brings an enormous amount of money wherever it's held, in hotels, in restaurants, in little doodads that people like to buy related to their party. So it would be an economic loss for the state. The president clearly applying pressure to a Democratic governor to try to get him to reopen the way the president would like states to behave.
Yeah, you know, when I heard that, I thought even if you could sort of pull out, because this is a kind of event that is, you know, a year in the planning, and there are contracts and there's money that has already been spent. I can't imagine what city would be willing to take the convention on. What city would be willing to allow thousands of people to pour into a stadium and guarantee that no matter what healthcare professionals are saying? But I'm curious about the state's governor. How's he reacting to this threat?
Well, the spokesman for the governor said that the state will be relying on data and science as officials review convention plans for the RNC. So clearly not committal there. You make a good point, though, Anne-Marie. Where else can you just pick up and move this massive event? Though there have been conversations about possibly scaling down the convention, making it easier to be able to test everyone or many of the people who attend. perhaps it not being as big an event. But still, as you said, there would likely be a lot of litigation. There are contracts in place, and it's enormously important economically for local economies that land one of these big events.
All right, Paula, thank you very much.